Hey, what's up, movie fans? I am here with my really quick review of Criminal, the latest film starring Kevin Costner, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. What would happen if someone like an anonymous type group decided they wanted to see the Earth change? That's right, no more banks, no more social media, no more money. That's right. Michael Pitt plays the Dutchman, a hacker who has some complexity to him and is bought with the express idea for $10 million he could do this. Do the bidding of Heimdall, this really classic isotope of a supervillain who wants to see the world go down in flames. Basically, Ryan Reynolds at the beginning of the film is a CIA operative who is working to try and nip this in the bud. So he meets with Michael Pitt's character and unfortunately is shot down. His body is dead, but in some lab tests they think that there's a possibility they could potentially harvest some of his brain tissue and basically input it in Kevin Costner's brain. Now, Kevin Costner's character is an emotionless person. He's a 1 in 10 million chance that they would ever find someone who could potentially host this transplant, if you will. He is a murderer. He has been in and out of jails and prisons his whole life. He literally has no emotion at all. It's similar to a Face-Off, but without the humor, without the connectivity between these two people. He basically has to go from having no emotion whatsoever and doing what he wants, robbing, killing, potentially raping, to having a conscience and having these memories. And it's an interesting idea for sure. It's kind of like Face Off, but brain off. Kevin Costner gives a fine performance here and there. It's kind of just, I'm sure, a paycheck movie. Gal Gadot is fantastic in this movie. She is like the saving grace of this movie. She is just an incredibly talented actress in this performance. It's just, some of the lines that are in this movie are just abysmal. It's really campy at some moments and really just really some of the actions, like she's able to immediately know where this hidden alarm is, and she's able to manipulate it with her foot without seeing it. And it's just like stuff like that is just really nonsensical. Plus, like, there's a missile that gets launched, minor spoiler I guess, and you see it on the camera and they have the graphic for it, and then it does a UE. It's just like, really. The villain is probably one of the weakest villains I've ever seen. He's really dumb and inept, and it's just, some of the writing is just really abysmal. Like Alice Eve's character is a CIA operative who has a desk job at the beginning, and then she's on the scene in the middle. Gary Oldman's character is pushing Tommy Lee Jones' character, who is the surgeon, making him do things that you would never think they would do. I understand they're under a tremendous amount of pressure. They have a limited time. But he does things that are just ridiculous. Tommy Lee Jones gives a very good performance in this film. It's a much more subdued, normal, realistic performance. He's not a doctor who's a badass. He's a doctor who is looking out for the best interest of his patients, and it makes sense. So props for Tommy Lee Jones, Gal Gadot, and Kevin Costner gives it a good performance. But there are just some really ridiculous things in this movie. I really think that it has potential. It's an interesting premise. I really think that it's like a Mr. Robot meets Face Off idea, and it could have definitely been done a little bit better. It is what it is. I give it like a D+, C-, just alone for Gal Gadot's performance. She's really good. But she also, the character is just not written great. Like, she has a daughter who she's okay with having in this. He's a mass murderer, most likely. We don't know all his crimes, but I'm sure he's a mass murderer. Stuff like that. Like, it wouldn't really happen like that. And she's hesitant, but I can't blame her. It's written by the same guys who did The Rock. And The Rock was cool. Not Dwayne Johnson, but the 96, like, classic. And it's just kind of interesting. But, yeah, overall, I give it like a C-. It's an okay movie. I've seen a lot worse. And there's some cool moments in the film. I like the pacing at some moments, but there's some moments where it's just jumbled and it just doesn't make sense. Let me know what you guys think. I have tons and tons of other movie reviews at my user name is London Hawthorne, so please check it out. Click on my username. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.